I'm Terry McGregor, one of the owners here at Earthworks in Jacksonville on Beach Boulevard, and today we're going to talk about creative container gardening. First, you got to think about where you're going to put your container. That's the number one factor in what kind of plants you're going to choose. So you may want to choose a sun area, or it could be in the shade. You may even be doing an interior pot. So these will predict which plants you're going to choose. For instance, this is a shade pot, and I've chosen plants that all have the same needs light-wise and watering-wise, so that when I take care of this pot, they're all going to do well. I would not want to combine a plant that likes a little bit of water with a plant that likes to be watered a lot, because you're going to have issues with one or the other not doing well as sunlight. You want, if something requires shade, of course your pot's going to be a shade pot. Okay, after you know what conditions your pot's going to take and where it's going to be placed, you need to pick your container. Containers come in all shapes and sizes. Little things that can take one plant to super large containers where you might put 3 or 4 or 5, 6, it goes on, numbers of plants in them. If you're going to do a mixed pot, which is I think we're going to talk about today, don't be afraid to fill the pot with plants. You'd be surprised how many plants can fit in one of these pots and do well. So you can really pack your pots full of plants. Another consideration is the purpose of your pot. You might have a place where you want to attract the hummingbirds and butterflies. This, for instance, is a hummingbird and butterfly container. Everything in here is attractive to butterflies, and it can take full sun, and they tend to be xeric plants as well. Okay, I've prepared some examples for you here today so you can get some ideas. This is what I call my purple passion pot, and it's a shade plant pot. It has some wonderful plants in it. With all of your containers, you're going to want to vary the size, texture, colors of your leaves. So you want to get some tall plants, which we call our thrillers, some medium plants, which we call our fillers, and then trailing plants that we call our spillers. And I've got a lot of examples of the different spillers you can use, and the thrillers are the tall ones that you can use as well. But this plant pot right here will do very well in the shade. Next, I have a pot that is an edible pot. And with something like this, I wanted to get as many herbs in it as I could. Again, I wasn't afraid to pack it with everything it needed, but I did choose herbs that I felt worked together. I didn't mix, spicy herbs with sweet herbs. I kept it to my Italian herbs and mixed that up in a pot. It just looks beautiful. Another fun example is a monochromatic pot. I had this beautiful blue pot. I wanted to do something that matched it, so I chose all beautiful blue flowers. So for my thrillers, I picked an agapanthus and a black and blue salvia. Then I've got lobelia, techno blue, and blue days in here. And then it's a nice vinca trailer. So that I get a nice monochromatic kind of feel, and that's just a fun thing to do sometimes. You can just go with one color theme. Next, I have a beautiful succulent pot. These are great if you've got a patio where you just get intense sun in the afternoons and you've had difficulty growing things. You can't go wrong with a succulent pot. Plus, they're absolutely beautiful. And again, I've mixed my textures and the size of my leaves, but they all need the same thing, very little water. And I've also chosen a very well-draining soil for this particular pot, because you don't want your succulents sitting in damp soil. Now, for pots like these, I would use a soil that's going to maintain my water, because these plants all enjoy some dampness. So you do have to consider that when you're picking your soil, what the needs of your plants are as well. But again, I did mix my textures, and I got some beautiful combinations in this pot I can put out on the patio and forget about it. Next, I have my butterfly pot. It's called my sunshine pot, or sunshine in a pot. And I've got some beautiful gaillardia, the red penta, which the butterflies adore, some begonia and some lantana, all very easy care, full sun plants. They do great everywhere. And lastly, I have a beautiful container. I wanted to show you that this is just a recycled basket. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on your containers. You can find things and use just about anything. Now granted, this won't last forever, but it's beautiful while it does. And again, you got to think about things that spill over the pot, things that'll fill in the middle, and something with some height. When you're doing your pots, you want to think about, is the pot up against a wall, or is it in the middle of a patio? If it's in the middle of the patio, you're going to want to put your thriller right in the middle of the planter and pot all the way around it, so from all sides everybody sees it. If you're up against a wall, you're going to put your thriller up against the wall and tear it down so that they can see all the plants. You don't want to put the tallest in the front because it will obscure the other plants. So location, again, is key to what you're going to do with your pot. Here's a great demonstration of what I was talking about filling your planters up with plants. This right here turns into this when we filled it up. And I've actually placed almost 15 plants in this one little basket. And this is what you can do, and it turns out to be absolutely gorgeous. And I've really packed it full of plants. As you can see, with container gardening, the combinations are endless. And of course, here at Earthworks, we'd be happy to help you out. You can bring in a pot you own, or we have plenty here. Come and see me at Earthworks. I'm here all the time, and we'll put together the perfect combination for you in your backyard.